User. The voice of the teacher. The student, aspiring to join the throng of silent workers who carry on the labors of the world, aspires to the highest honor that God or man can bestow. Out of all the universe with its myriads of living things, there are but few who obtain a conscious discipleship. For those, the world they live in is a new world. The sorrows of the past are gone, the joys of material advancement hold no allurement for them, but face to face with the God of their own souls, they enter into communion with the Most High. All students aspire to this moment, they pray for it, they live for it. Nevertheless, many pass into the great beyond without realizing this conscious discipleship. Often they become discouraged. They feel that after their years of waiting God has forgotten them, and they begin to doubt the existence of those illuminated ones who inspire and teach the sages. They do not realize that, while for them the veil may not now be lifted, behind, in the subtler essences of being, the alchemy of transmutation goes on eternally. As long as in spirit and in truth they walk the path, fine threads of gold are woven into the garment of glory and tinkling bells are being hung upon their raiment. The student must learn to be contented with his lot. No matter how much he knows, the infinity of knowledge will ever stretch out before him. It makes no difference how much he has already attained, the possibility of further attainment is ever present. So the student who is wise and is seeking to be of use in the plan does not long and pray for greater light, but learns to take the light which he already possesses and use it as wisely as he can, realizing that his powers and senses are his talents, and that when he takes them out and gives them to the world they multiply many times over. He is also able to see and to understand that as the years of his probation go on, his body is slowly becoming refined, the atoms composing it are vibrating more highly each day. His mental organisms become more acute and his trials heavier, but if he will persevere through all obstacles, the attainment of the light is his ultimate reward. In the meantime he must work in the shadow, realizing that somewhere the sun is shining. While he cannot see it, he must still serve the light he knows to be there. He should not wait for conscious illumination. Many of the world's greatest workers have not had that. They merely went out with the realization in their souls the great ideal which was strong enough to inspire, real enough to endure. Many an initiate has seen the light given to him by one who did not know, many a disciple is bathed in the radiance his master has never seen, many a student has received that ordination for which his master has sought in vain. This may seem strange, but it is true. Some of our greatest masters and illuminators were shown the way by teachers who themselves had never found it. Our work is to do the best we can, to take the light which we know exists, and, overcoming the impatience which is the curse of the young student, go our way, asking not for greater knowledge or power but only for strength for the moment, so that each call that comes shall find us ready. In that way the light does come, it shines out through the soul in sorrow and through our own being, offered as the living implement for the works of the Almighty, pouring out the balm of Gilead and blessing the souls of the world with a peace that they have not often found. Many a master has raised the dead who could not save himself, many have brought peace to others who themselves have not found it. In humbly offering their lives to the law of being they became appointed messengers to spread the word and baptize in the name of the Father. The great thing that counts is sincerity of motive, sincerity of application. There is a great comfort for those who are sincere, for, while the clouds may gather around them and the light may seem far away, if they have asked in sincerity, if they have labored in sincerity, if they have served unselfishly and have followed the path of the white light, they are growing. While that growth may be so slow that they neither see nor feel it, they can be content, realizing that while the wheels of the gods move slowly, they move not for a day, but for an eternity. The voice of the elder brother whispers in the ear of his pupil, and in the silence of sorrow, in the great test, in the moment of great need, he is there laboring with, comforting and shielding the pupil who has given all. Those who trust themselves in the hands of the infinite are not deceived, but receive in accordance with the trust which they place. As we carry on the work of our daily life, meeting each obstacle with poise and courage, a subtle change takes place in our organisms, and from those who labor here honestly and truly are chosen those who must labor behind the veil. Many times we accomplish in the stillness of the night the works our hands could not perform in the daylight hours, and while our bodies are lying upon the couch to rebuild the broken tissues of the day, the pupil is with the master of his dreams. The wall of clay no longer divides them, but like the child walking hand in hand with the parent, the student is one with that great being appointed by the infinite to assist him in his labors. When the waking hours come again, the memory is lost, and the brain, filled with the turmoil of the day, cannot bring it through. Even though the coarse particles of the physical organs do not feel the fine vibrations of the Master's presence, this presence is not lost. Deep in the soul of man this work is etched in the living substances of his being, and when, after laying aside this garment of clay, the spirit looks back upon the works of its life, it understands the progress it has made and realizes that the years of effort without a seeming reward have built a temple, invisible but nonetheless real. For all eternity the student will be nobler, better, truer, and purer because of the temple he built in darkness when his hands did not know the clay he molded. Our everyday actions are fingers molding the clay of our infinite beings. Our honest endeavors, our sincere efforts, are never lost, but are built into that subtle substance which will sometime garb us in a body opalescent. We must all be children sometimes, but we must also learn to grow up. We must leave behind us childishness, we must leave behind us thoughtlessness and learn to gaze with open eyes into the infinite. We must learn to know the teacher's voice when it sounds. We must listen to the still small voice within which whispers of the works we have done through all the ages of our being, for in its quiet way it tells us the way we should go. The young teacher, starting in his work in a world of thoughtless beings and of materiality, will probably pass into the great beyond unhonored and unacknowledged, but like the planter in the field tossing out the handfuls of grain, his ideals, his words, his thoughts, and his life are seeds cast off by the ego, which, like the chalk of masonry, leaves marks of its passing. These seeds of light and truth may not fall on fertile soil but may remain hidden for ages like the grain in the tombs of Egypt's kings. Recently, when archaeologists opened one of these tombs, they found wheat that had lain there for 3,000 years. When this wheat was planted, it grew as though it had been but last year's harvest. So the seeds of light we plant may remain unfruitful for countless ages, but in time the ever-changing stream of life will feed and nourish them, and they will bring forth their fruit, and that fruit will, in turn, bring forth its fruit for millions of years after we have been forgotten. In ages still unborn, man will live and think the dreams he plants in his soul today. The sparks of hope we now sow like stars will someday blaze forth in all the glory of the altar fire. Let the student feel the eternity of his labors, let him realize that the seeds he plants do not fall into dirt, but into the souls of his fellow creatures. As long as the spirit and soul endure, no thought sown today can be forgotten. Ever-changing coils of dirt will bury in their hearts that spark, but someday it shall rise triumphantly from its tomb, molding the destiny of worlds, a savior of human lives. Let the student remember that all things here below are but shadows of the infinite, they are beneath the dark cloud of mortality, but they are as much in the soul of God as in the heavens of light, and whatever word or thought, ideal, or hope we sow in this world we have sown in the body of God, we have released it ourselves and have turned it over to the guardianship of the infinite. Realizing that we are ever sowing these seeds which bring forth their ever different harvests, let us send our every thought and word with the blessing of the Spirit, that it shall go forth to bring good fruit unto the glory of God. In this we are helping in the furtherance of the great plan. When this is the motive of our voice, we cannot say words that injure, but the very desire to serve. The right attunes us with the light regardless of limitations. In spite of error, our words will help if we send them out in the spirit of love. If we have no idea of our own save that we may tell the truth, if we have no concept of our own, no other motive than to serve the right, the powers of creation, ever searching like the philosopher with his lamp for an honest man, will take us in hand and through all our lives here instruct and prepare us to do our chosen work. The years of probation may be long, we may wander the earth 100 lives more without consciously attaining, but that is not the thing that matters, it is the ability to be used that is important. Whether we are conscious or unconscious channels in the ultimate is not the vital issue, the point is that we are channels through which the life of the God in us may shine forth to awaken the God in our brother. Those who have dedicated their lives upon the altar will be protected and guided as the measure of their works. The teacher is with them, the elder brother is ever near them, and in things eternal their feet shall not stumble. Many of our greatest philosophers and thinkers have never felt the presence of the elder brother beside them, but the world, gazing at the man, has seen the master's works. Noble thoughts, glorious books, wondrous paintings, have been inspired by a subtle genius no man knows, genius not of earth but of the teacher, given to the world by those who themselves never dreamed of the source and never understood the power of the message they brought. To our students, therefore, we would convey thought that the measure of the soul's growth is not illumination. It is rather that slow, rhythmic influx, that ever-purifying flame transmuting age after age the dross metals to gold. Students going into the world to carry the light must carry the truths they believe with the courage of their convictions. They are all under the Master's guidance when they lead men and serve them. They cannot, however, serve both God and Mammon. When they serve another teacher, the white-robed brother leaves them. When they serve self, there is no room for him. As long as they fulfill the works of their God, they are never alone. In moments of joy and sorrow, the voice is there. During the years of waiting, the Master's courage fortifies and makes them better and truer workers. Therefore, go out among men, not asking for more power or greater light, but taking those qualities which you now possess, and dedicating them to the furtherance of the eternal plan and the service of the elder brothers. If you do this, you will see these powers grow like the talents of the faithful servant. Your life will be gradually transformed, your soul will gain deeper understanding and broader light, and someday through the dark mist of uncertainty will shine the face of the one who knows. Then the doubts will go, for, having seen that face, nothing of earth can hold us down. That beautiful face shines through, however, that star comes in the heavens only after the pupil has walked for years and lived in darkness below. He must have faith in the light which he cannot see, he must have trust in the face not visible to his eyes, he must feel and know and believe, with knowledge and with faith, that the time of liberation will come and the faithful servant who served in darkness shall rise upward to a broader light. The Lord is the drama of Faust. Though now he serves me with imperfect sight, I will ere long conduct him to the light. The gardener knoweth when the green appears, that flowers and fruit will crown the coming years.